Well, it's terrible what's going on. The movement, by the way, that Scott Ritter was here, Judge Napolitano, Joe Lauria, and others, is called Occupy Peace. And I launched this movement over a decade ago. So, I'm totally against the wars going on. And peace is a dirty word. You're not allowed to talk about peace. You're banned from all the Western media. They have nobody on the major media speaking about peace. You go to the Wall Street Journal, you go to one article after another, and barely a word of the genocide going on, barely a picture of the destruction going on in Gaza, and is going on for what? Since October 7th, 2023. According to Lancet, nearly 200,000 people have died, not the numbers that they're putting out. The whole place is being demolished. And where is the outrage? No outrage. You got a little arrogant boy, a murderer of the first degree, Netanyahu, comes to America, talks to Congress, and the little boys and girls, the pieces of political crap, stand up and give them what? Over 50 standing ovations. That's America. And stealing our money to give them the weapons of death to keep this going. And then the same thing in Ukraine. And now Biden's ramping that up with sending the long-range missiles. I have a sign out in front of me. I just put up a Christmas sign, and it says peace. And I'm saying to myself, what a joke. No peace. Nobody talks about peace. This is probably the only peace sign up here. What this T-shirt that we have at trendsjournal.com says. You see that? All right? All right? Look at the little clown boys running the show. Major story coming out. Boris Johnson says we need to do more to secure Ukraine and help them defeat Russia. Boris Johnson, a little clown boy that the best cartoonist in the world could not come up with a more stupid-looking freak of a jerk than that little piece of nothing. I gotta hear the crap spewing out of his mouth. Oh no, the little Catson Macron, with the fake hair and who knows what he is or this or that. More weapons. Look at the jerks running the show. Out of his mind, Biden. We put out a weekly magazine, the Trends Journal. Nothing is being reported that we're reporting in the major media. We have a whole section of the Israel war, whole section of the Ukraine war. None of this is being reported. And what we do as trend forecasters, we subscribe to Haaretz, the Israeli newspaper. Want to hear what they have to say? Go to the Jerusalem Post, go to the Times of Israel. Oh, they hate you for this. We go to ISNA, IRNA, Press TV, and Tehran Times. We want to hear what the Iranians have to say. Oh, and we go to Arab News, we go to Al Jazeera, we want to hear what the Arabs have to say. They don't do that in the media. You're banned. You're asking what's going on. You got a bunch of freaks running the show. The cover of our magazine, one of them, when the election was going on, Walt Disney White House, presidential reality show, Minnie Mouse versus Donald Duck. We got 345 million people in this country, and this is what they give you? That's it? It's a freak show. And by the way, I was the assistant to the Secretary of the New York State Senate. Worked on major political campaigns in Westchester County, the richest county in America. Oh, I got a picture of me when I picked up Ronald Reagan at the Chicago Hilton and put on a brunch for 16 of our board of directors when I was 30 years old. I've been with presidents, prime ministers, and princes. I've been on the other side. They're little gutless clowns. When you call these guys out man to man, they don't know whether to piss or shit. They're little nothings. But oh no, they're your leaders. Follow your leader. Anybody that supports war, hey, fat mouth, go over there and fight. You're so fat you couldn't fight your way out of a paper bag. They wouldn't make one big enough for you. Oh, don't you talk to me like that. Oh, I'll have you arrested. Yeah, these are the little freaks. Oh, you got that guy Starmer now? Look at a little nothing. We used to say in the Bronx, people don't know dick about shit. You had the elections here in the United States. It seems like 6% of the people said global affairs was a major issue. All right? They don't know what's going on. They could care less. How much does a dozen eggs cost? Or did Taylor Swift get laid last night? Ben Affleck had Thanksgiving with his wife. What are you telling me this crap? That's the meat. There is no journalism anymore. It's dead. AP just fired what? 8% of its staff or something? BBC, one after another, all firing people. There's no journalism left. I want to make this clear. I have best-selling books, Trends 2000, Trend Tracking, Far Better Than Megatrends. I used to be on Oprah, The Today Show, Good Morning America. And when USA Today was a big newspaper, they used to run our top trends every year. And you can look it up. We put them out in December for the new year, 2000. 2001 won't be our year, Trendseer says. I warned that a wave of anti-Americanism was sweeping the globe and Americans wouldn't be safe at home or abroad. Then 9/11. Yep. Everybody has me on the media. Again, I used to be on Oprah, The Today Show. Everybody. What happened? What happened? I said, look what America's doing. Madeleine Albright, or not all that bright, the former America's ambassador to the United Nations, on the show at Leslie Stahl, 60 Minutes. Leslie Stahl asks Madeleine Albright, is the death of 500,000 Iraqi children under the age of 5 worth the price because of what Bill Clinton has done? And she said, it's worth the price. You forgot about the Yugoslav war or the Kosovo war? Oh, the slaughter going on about the Palestinians? Again, as we say in the Bronx, payback's a bitch. So we saw 9/11 happening. They asked me about this, and I said what's going on. Why, how dare you say it? And then the Afghan war. We're going to get that guy Osama bin Laden dead or alive. 90% of the people swallowed the crap spewing out of the mouth at a little daddy's boy with a pair of cojones smaller than a mothball, George Bush. So now I'm on all the media. What's going to happen? I said, listen, if Alexander the Great couldn't beat the Afghans, if the British at the height of the British Empire into the Valley of Death rode to 600, they couldn't beat them. If Russia couldn't beat them, and Russia was the first one to beat the Germans in World War II, despite losing 25 million people, what makes you think America's going to defeat the Afghans? We haven't won a war since World War II. And again, we won that without Russia. Lost the Vietnam War, lost the Korean War. I said, what makes you think we're going to win this war? Why? How dare you say that? How dare you say that? You're anti-American. That's the crap. I got blacklisted from everybody. I didn't get back in the media until I came out with the forecast, the Panic of '08. I took the domain name out in 2007. When it comes to money, they want to hear what you got to say. When it comes to peace, they could give a damn. You look at the midterm elections in America. Inflation was at 9%, 2022. Biden's poll ratings were in the toilet. The Republicans didn't do well in the midterm elections because of one issue, abortion. It's a fact, only by the numbers. We thought that would be another issue. The Michigan studies for consumer confidence was at a 4-year high just before the election and up 4 months in a row. But the people are disgusted with what's going on with immigration, with the woke stuff, and they can't afford to buy things. Here, the data. You have, once upon a time, new home buyers, 40% of them people buying a home for the first time. Now it's down to 27%. That's the other reason why, by the way, they want all the immigrants to come here, because you go to any of the big chains, Marshalls, Target, any of them. You walk in and there's a sign on the front door, help wanted, help wanted, help wanted. They want cheap labor coming in because you can't live in what these chains are paying people to work. So the people were disgusted with the economic system. And there's that old saying, it's the economy, stupid. And that's what it was about. So the working class is suffering, and that's why Trump won. And by the way, the media calls it the people going to the far right. It wasn't far right. This used to be a lot of what used to be a Democratic Party. But what's going to happen, as we see it, is a guessing game. Will Trump live by his words and deeds, or will it be just more BS? Because when you look back to when he first got elected, he promised 3 things: build a wall, fix our third world rotted infrastructure, and lower taxes. The only thing he did was lower taxes. And according to the Tax Policy Center, the 1% got 64% of the tax benefits. So now that he's brought in Musk and what they're saying about, getting rid of these government jobs, which I totally agree with. I hate bureaucrats. Bureaucrats are the lowest pieces of crap. They can't get a job in the real world, and they become the most arrogant. I call them bureaucrats. And is he going to use the tariffs? Or is that just talk? And he also said he's going to end the Ukraine war when he's in office within 24 hours. That's a quote. How come he has lockjaw now and he's not complaining about Biden ramping up the war? And then on the Israeli front, he's got a total Zionist cabinet in there. Little clown boy, Huckleberry, Huckle Jerk, that used to be the governor of Arkansas, that's the UN ambassador to Israel, said there's no such thing as Palestine. There's no such thing as settlements, one after another. So what he got? Like hundreds of millions of dollars from the Jewish people. And when he got the $100 million from Sheldon Adelson, he moved the United States Embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem and said, hey, that land you stole over there, the Golan Heights, that belongs to Syria, it's yours. So what's Trump going to do on that level? But it looks like on the Israel level, he's going to keep ramping it up. On the Ukraine level, it's a guess. Once upon a time in America, you read McKinley back in the late 1800s, we had tariffs in this country. We didn't have income tax. The government got the money from tariffs. One of McKinley's words are, do you want cheap products or do you want higher wages? We used to have manufacturing in this country. Now only 11% of our GDP is manufacturing based. And manufacturing brings middle class earnings. So yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, will it be tough in the beginning? Possibly. But again, the dollar would get stronger, and that means you could buy more products and it wouldn't cost as much. So there's an upside and a downside to it. And again, Tulsi Gabbard, they say, she's for peace. Oh yeah? She calls our greatest fear Islamophobia taking over the world, and that we have to support Israel. Kennedy. I spoke to Kennedy twice. I had Dennis Kucinich up here when he was his campaign manager as one of my speakers. And I stopped supporting Kennedy when he came out and said the Palestinians are the most pampered people in the world. And he's totally pro-genocide. And Kucinich quit, wasn't the campaign manager anymore either, because he's all about peace. So again, some things I agree, some I don't, but it's a guessing game at this point. Will Trump live by his word? And will the people coming in do what they say they're going to do? I'm totally in favor of breaking down big time the government. It is a joke. And by the way, I was on the other side. That's why I know what I know. After I worked in the Senate, when I quit, nobody could believe I was going to quit because I'm not going to grovel my way up to the top. I became a government affairs specialist for the chemical industry. I was killing environmental legislation at the height of the environmental movement back in the 1970s. I was staying at the Willard Hotel in D.C. at 28 years old and putting my meetings on at Hay Adams, which is right across the street from the White House, top place. And then I started to grow up when I was around 32, and the Iranian conflict broke out, and they taught us to hate Iran. But of course, people had no idea how the United States overthrew the democratically elected government of Mossadegh in 1953, along with the UK and the CIA to steal their oil, because Mossadegh said that oil belongs to the Iranian people, not Anglo-Iranian oil, better known today as BP, or Standard Oil, better known today as ExxonMobil. They overthrew the country, put in the Shah, the Savak, the secret police. Anyway, that's when I became a political atheist and stopped believing in the system. So the thing with Trump, from people that I know that know him personally, nobody could tell him what to do. He's an egomaniac, and he'll only do what he wants to do. And money talks. So that's what we have to see.